Hello everyone, welcome to the Fabric Online Conference, North America edition. Today my topic is going to be adaptive data orchestration in Fabric. I don't know whether how many of you know what data orchestration is. I'll go through that a bit later on. My name is Indira Bandari and I'm a Microsoft AI and Data Platform MVP. And a little bit about me before I start my session. I have a master's degree in statistics and I have been in this field for over 20 years now. And I have this passion to teach kids about technology. So I run SQL and Power BI classes for kids. So yeah, sometimes once in a year I run Power BI competition for kids as well. So and if you want to contact me, you can reach me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn handle is Indira-Bandari. Uh, Moving on. Okay, what's today's agenda? So I hope that you are all are familiar with Fabric. So the agenda will be I'm not covering Fabric today. It'll be Fabric data pipelines and what are the key components of data pipelines. I'm just going to cover that, and also I'll start with the demo. It'll be heavily demo focused, only I think 3 or 4 slides. That's it. Okay, so now as you all know, Fabric has a lot of workloads, right? So you have data science workloads, data engineering workloads, data factory workload, real-time intelligence, and so on and so forth. So uh, orchestration of data movement comes under the data factory workload. So what is orchestration of data movement? So first of all, a data pipeline. A data pipeline consists of a lot of components. And what does a data pipeline do? Data pipeline actually in Fabric automates the flow of data between a source and a destination in simple terms. So if you have your source in either multi on premise or AWS or some other source, so you get this data from the source and then you uh, copy the data from the source and then post it into uh, destination. Your destination can be anything else again. So usually in Fabric, what we do is um, the destination will be Fabric. So it can be a Fabric one lake, or it can be a lake house or a data warehouse or um, things like that. So, or even it could be even SQL in Fabric, which is in preview at the moment. And so for this, we use something called ETL or ELT processes. So ETL is extract, transform, and load. So first you extract the data from the source, and then you transform it and then load it into the destination. So that is the extract, transform, and load part of it. And what is ELT? ELT is extract, load, and transform. So you extract the data from the source, load it into the destination, and then go and transform it. Over the years, um, the process from ETL has changed to ELT, where you extract the source from the extract the data from the source and then load it into a destination, so that both are close to the loaded data will be close to the source of truth, and then do the transformations as you want and build either a data warehouse or a data model, so that you can do the analytics of the transformed data. So that is the difference between extract ETL and ELT processes. And um, using data pipelines, what we can achieve is integration of diverse data sources. So what is integration of diverse data sources? So your data sources if you're working for even a small or medium organization or an enterprise organization, you will have diverse data sources. So you will have your data in financial systems, you will have your data HR data in HR systems, you will have transactional data in transactional systems and things like that. Sometimes you might have data in AWS or other clouds, so or Google Cloud platform. So what you do is you integrate the data from these diverse sources and get them load them into Fabric, where you can um, do the transformations required and combine various sources and create a model that is useful for analytics or even predictions or data science workloads. So that is the integration of diverse data sources that you want to achieve. Now, and also you can, once you create the pipelines, you can automate them by scheduling. So you can schedule hourly, or you can schedule half day, or every night or something like that, depending on your need. So that is that you can achieve the automation and scheduling by using Fabric data pipelines. um, okay, so what are the key components of data pipelines? First thing is, what we need to do is we need to from Fabric we need to connect to data sources. How do we achieve that? First thing is we need to establish the connection from the source, connection to the source. So for that, we need linked services. So linked services is used to connect to either SQL Server sources, or Oracle sources, or blob sources, or even you can use API connections as well. So to create the connectivity to the source and to the destination, we use linked services. And after creating the connection, we we create something called data sets. Data sets is also a component of data pipeline. And then once we create the data sets, it could be either source data sets mostly. So source data set can be loaded into a destination. So that is called data sets. And the other thing is activities. So in a data pipeline, you can have a lot of activities. Examples that I'm going to show you today is a lookup activity, and also a for each loop activity, and also a copy activity. Those are the three main things that I'm going to show you today. And if we look at the integration runtime, so for example, what is an integration runtime? You have the link services, you have connected to the source, but in order to get the data from the source to the destination, you need some kind of compute, right? So that compute can be achieved through integration runtimes. So integration runtimes usually are of two types. One is the integration runtime that is by default available on Microsoft Fabric. So that is used to connect anything between anything not between clouds, within Azure. So if you have the default integration runtime can be used to connect anything within Azure. But if you want to connect to a data source, and then data source which is on premises, then what you do is you create something called self-hosted integration runtime. So you need that to connect to the on-premise server, on-premise data sources. And then and then also scheduling is also part of the data pipeline, which I have mentioned earlier. Okay, so data pipelines are used to load data into either one lake houses, or one lake houses, or data warehouses, or you can use Fabric. So any questions? I'm not sure because I'm not able to see the chat. So now let's get on to the demo. So I'll just stop sharing and then get into Fabric. So anyone can type, how do we get into Fabric? Question. Okay, so now share window. Yeah. sharing? Yeah, I'm going to share this one. Can you see my browser?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
we
yeah.
can. Yep.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so now to get into Fabric, usually what I do is I just go to Power BI. So app.powerbi.com. And you if you are logging in for the first time, you need to log in using a work account. So I have already logged in, so it's not asking me to log in. And here, if you log into Power BI, you can see a Power BI screen only. So in order to use Fabric workloads, what you need to do is you need to click here and then change your workload to Fabric. And here you have a lot of workloads. If you look at workloads, you can see all the workloads that it's taking a bit of time. Oh God, looks like my internet is a bit shaky. Okay, so okay, so you have a lot of workloads here. Um, and what I want to show you is for today's this thing we are going to use we have to create like how we create workspaces in Power BI. You need to create workspaces for Fabric as well. So I am going to use this PBI Summit workspace, and I don't want to give feedback now. And I have, because I have created a lot of things here, you are able to see a lot of things. So all my dynamic orchestration workloads are in the not workloads components are in the folder called dynamic orchestration. So I am going to go into that, and here what you see is called the task flow, where you can, if you, for example, if I click on that, this will show what are the components related to get data, and this will show what is the bronze layer. If you are familiar with the medallion architecture, you will have the bronze layer, silver layer, and gold layer. So this is following the bronze layer, silver layer, and gold layer. So these are the steps. So you get the data from the source, load it into bronze layer, transform the data to get into a silver layer, and then you enrich the data. So when you put the data into silver layer, sometimes you may not be able to do the analytics directly from silver layer. So for that you need to enrich the data and then create a data model, and that will be stored in the gold layer, which can then be used. This data in the gold layer can then be used to visualize data using Power BI or any other analysis tools. So that's a bit brief about brief about the medallion architecture. So now what I'm going to show you is I have the data in my SQL server. Maybe I will just show you. Um, okay, let me see what is in here. Um, I have if I just want to create uh, just one table demo, copy data from one table to one table in a lake house, what I do is I just use the copy activity from the just create a new pipeline. Okay, I'll just show you a how to create a new pipeline. So I'll just go here, um, and then you can go new item and then create a data pipeline. I'm not going to do it because I have already done. I already have my data pipeline. So if I go back into this one, the pipeline here. So after clicking on the new item and data pipeline, you will have a blank canvas. You won't have these two activities. Remember, we have I have mentioned you that one of the key component of a data pipeline is activities, right? So this is the pipeline. Pipeline is the canvas, and then the activities, you can add different activities. This is the copy data activity, copy, and this is the data flow activity, notebook activity, lookup activity, and invoke pipeline activity. And if you want more activities, you can click on this, and then you will have a lot of activities like the variable and all those things. So I have this copy data activity where the data is being copied from Azure SQL. I have a Azure SQL where I have loaded the AdventureWorks. So this is the connection. So the connection is the link service that I was talking about. So first you need the connection. So you drag the copy data. So for example, you drag it here and then add to canvas, and then you can define this one. So this definition is already, this is what I have done here. So if I go here, um, this is the connection. First step is the linked service that I mentioned you. So this is done using the linked service. So this is the connection, which is my SQL server is called ASQL demo dot database dot windows dot net, and then the connection type is Azure SQL database, and then the database name that I have given is AdventureWorks. And here I have three options to use when I'm trying to get the data from the source. So this I am here I'm just using sales lt dot product category as the table, and then um, that is the source information that I have given. And if you want, you can just preview the data. So once I click on preview, yeah, so here what you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns in the product category table, which is the category ID, parent product category ID, and then name, the GUID, and also the date modified. So this is the data that we are going to import into what do you call, where is the close escape? Okay. So this is the data that we are going to import into the destination. What is my destination? Destination is a bronze lake house. And if I go into um, another tab, give me 1 minute. And then go into, I just want to show you the bronze lake house. So workspaces, Power BI Summit, and my bronze lake house is this. So a lake house has, in a lake house, you can store both structured and unstructured data. Structured data um, will be stored in the tables, and then unstructured data will be stored in the files folder. So this is the product category that I have already imported. So when I run this one, what happens is, so the product category, I'm naming that table as product category, and then I'm just making sure that it's going to save in tables. And also each time I run it, I am just saying that it needs to overwrite, because I'm not loading it as incremental data. I'm just loading the table as it is into Lakehouse. So every time I run this copy data activity, it's just going to copy the entire table from the SQL server into product category. So that is what is going to happen in using this particular pipeline. So now the question comes, AdventureWorks has a lot of tables. So if you go into source, so here, if you look at this one, I have a lot of tables, address, customer, see all these tables. So what if we want to load all these tables into the destination? One way is to create a lot of copy activities. How many ever, let's say you have 10 tables, you have to create copy data activities for 10, and then you have to move them using those copy data activities 10 times. Is that an efficient one? No, because you are creating unnecessary, and also sometimes if you add more tables into the adventure works, it won't the data won't be copied from the new table. So you need to again come here and then add a copy data activity. So for this, what you need to do is you need that is when you need to use the data orchestration. That is what is called the orchestration, so that you don't have to you don't have to manually add the tables, if you add the tables or even columns for doing the copying from the data source and the destination. um, if your table has changed, or something like that. So in order to achieve this one, now what I have done is, let me go back to my workspace. What I have created now is um, a dynamic pipeline. So here, um, what I have done is, so here the dynamic pipeline has a lookup table, and also there is a for each activity, lookup activity and for each activity. So before I go through those ones, uh, when we want to do a dynamic data orchestration, what we need to have is, we need to define some kind of parameters and also some kind of variables. So first thing about what I want to share is, I am I am having a parameter called app name and then string as adventure data works. The way I have, there are a lot of options that you can use to do the dynamic orchestration. The way I have done it is by using a separate orchestration or a metadata table. So for I'm going to show that to you. So if I go into the this thing. So here I have used a orchestration warehouse. You can either use orchestration warehouse, you can either use a warehouse, or you can use another Azure SQL, or even you can use Fabric SQL, which is in preview. I have used a warehouse. So if I click on this warehouse, I have created a schema called metadata. Schema called metadata. So here, if I look at these tables, I have the way I have structured is, because I will have a lot of applications, it could be an HR application, finance application, or whatever application. So that is the reason I have this application table, and I used a create script to create the application, app ID, server ID, and what the app name is. At the moment, I have only one application, just for demo purpose, which is the Adventure Works. So and then you can use other variables, whether is it active, and then in your code, when you are doing the dynamic orchestration, you can use the condition as, if the application is active only, then uh, copy the data from the source to destination, sort of thing. So and then also what is the create date, and you can add other columns as well. And I have one more table called field names, because the reason is, sometimes you have some sensitive columns where people don't, for example, HR team, they don't want people to data engineers to get the salary data from the source to the destination, because of, let's say, privacy issues or something like that, or even finance data. Finance people don't want their sensitive finance data to be copied from source to destination. So in such scenarios, what you can do is, you can specify the field name for each of the table. So in the product table, I just specified two columns, and in the address table I just specified 3 columns, and then in the customer table I just specified 3 columns. This is the only data that I want to copy from the copy the data from the source to the destination. And I'm going to show you how I got this field the fields as well. Dynamically we can insert the data, because this is, I have inserted the data. So I'm going to show you that as well, how I have done. And then you will have different servers. So I have a table for servers. You can do it differently. You don't need to have servers. You can just have applications as well. So server has just Azure SQL server name, and then server ID, and then you will be able to match when you are trying to create a store procedure. So what I've done is I have created a store procedure. I'm just going to show you that. So here what I have done is I have when I run this store procedure, it will give you the server ID, the application ID, all these columns. And then I have used this, specifically this one, for field name, to get the field names. And because when you are running the query at the source level, you need to get the field names. So it'll take SQL field names, and then from table name, and things like that. So that is what it's going to run. So if I and then I'm grouping it by. So if, for example, if I run this one, oh, I can't execute this one. Maybe I'll show you in the preview. So this is I have also created a store procedure. So these are the 3 things I have created: 3 tables and then 1 store procedure. And before that, I just want to show you the insert. How I have done the insert is I have run the what do you call this? The columns that I need, and the tables, and then got it into an Excel spreadsheet, and I used a concatenate statement to create the insert command. So the insert command that I have created looks something like this. I'll show you. So I think it will be there in my queries. Yeah, if I go to this one, so this is the create table command, and then that's the insert. So here I am inserting into the application the data that you have already seen, and then here insert into the orchestration field names. So this part I have created in the what do you call, in the Excel spreadsheet, using the concatenate, and then directly inserted into the field names table. So that's what I wanted to show you. Now let's now go back to the how I have created the pipeline. So first thing what I need to do is, you need to pass the in order to make it dynamic, you need to pass the first thing is the application name, because you might have different applications you want to get data from. So I have one application, so that is the AdventureWorks application. So I have allocated the default value as AdventureWorks. Now, and also I have created some variables. So the variables is field names as one of the variables, and source table as another variable, and source schema as another variable. You might have different schemas, not just the DBO. Okay. That's those are the variables part of it. And yeah, that's all. So now um, I have added the first activity that I have added is lookup activity. So if I go to the lookup, what I will do is uh, you need to look up, right? So in the settings, where are we looking up? We have to look up at the orchestration layer, because we are getting data from the source Azure SQL, but from the orchestration layer, I have created a store procedure, right? So if I use that store procedure, then I will get what all tables I am going to insert. uh, I'm going to get that data from the source. So if I preview this data, what this data will do is it is going to run this store procedure, and it's going to show us the what this metadata is going to get. ETL metadata is going to um, give us the values. So because this procedure needs a app the app parameter called app name, so I'm just giving that parameter value, and then I'm just going to click on OK. So once I do that, it's going to show us, yeah. Okay, so here it's going to show, it's showing the server ID, the app ID from where you are going to um, import get the source, so, and the server name and the app name that we have given. And see here, the string aggregator function that I have showed you, that is aggregating the columns that I am trying to import. Whereas if you look at the orchestration table here, in the metadata, you have seen them as separate rows. But when we are trying to specify the field names, we need to specify them as adjacent address ID, comma, city, comma, country, region. So this is the field name. That's where I have used the string aggregator function and then got the data here. And then this will be the table name. So we need to remember what these are: field name, table name, schema name. Okay, and then you can have other variables called process ID and whatever you want to monitor for a enterprise level. This is just a demo, so I'm just going with minimum data. So this is what it's giving. So how many records are there here? When we run it, we have seen 3 records, right? So this lookup table has 3 records. So this is the output. So it has 3 records. So now, because we need to load data from 3 tables, that is, the lookup has 3 records. So now for each of the row, it needs to run one copy activity. So for that, what we need to do is we need to use a loop. So it will loop through the copy activity for 3 times. So for that, I have added the for each um, activity. And in the for each activity, you need to specify some things. So settings. So here you are using the lookup table output value. So output value, you are using it dynamically. So how did I get that? If you click here, it's going to see this one, output, this lookup tables activity dot output. It, when you add this one, I'll just try to add it and you will know. So here it just comes still here, and then you need to add dot value, then you will get the activity. So um, that is the activity. And here you can okay, so here these activities are part of the what we have defined here. So let's look at that one. So here, if you click on this one and edit this one, you are going to go into the specific for each activity. What are the definitions that we have given? So we need the source tables, the variable, and then we need the schema name, and also we need this field name. Now here we have already defined the variables for these. So what we are going to do is we are going to set the variable. Here this is the set variable activity that we have used. And then for setting source tables, if we go into the settings, because we have defined the pipeline variable, we can choose that. So name, because we have these 3 pipeline variables that we have defined, which I have shown you earlier. So choose the right one. So this is because we are setting the source tables, I'm going to choose the source table. And then for schema name, I'm going to choose the schema name. And also we need to do the item dot schema name. So here how this is coming is, this is the item. What is the item? Item is the load data tables item. So how do we get it? When we go to the in the lookup table, what I have shown you in the preview data, you have this, right? So the things that I asked you to remember. So this is the field name, the table name, and the schema name. This is what you need to give there. Item dot field name, item dot table name, and item dot schema name. So that is what you need to give there. So if I go there, so each variable has schema name, table name, and also the um, field name. Okay, field names is the variable, but actual value is field name. Okay, so first you need to set these variables and then link them to the copy data. See, I have only one copy data activity, but it is going to insert three tables. So here what we are going to do is we are going to specify the source. Source is, now we are going to specify the source as Azure SQL. For lookup, we have specified the source as the orchestration data. But here the for the copy activity, we need to specify the source as the AdventureWorks database with all the connections and the type. And then now we are going to create a query based on the variables. So if we look at the query that I have created, we are going to use a select because we are getting data, right? So what our select statement will be is select the field names from table name from source schema dot table name, right? So this is what it is dynamically getting. So I am creating the select, but here I am getting the variable from the field name. So here if we go to the variables, see, you have these variables that you have defined here. So you get the field names, which we have already seen in the preview as address, comma, city, comma, something. So the field names are as required in the select statement. From, and from is source schema dot, there is a dot here, and then the source table. So this is how you dynamically using variables, you specify the select statement. So then you are using the query. And now in the destination, what you do is, again, here also you use some kind of a table, the variable. So here, what you need to do is you need to choose the connection as Bronze Lake House because that's where we are going to load. And then here you concatenate the item name with the dot and the table name. So that's what we are going to, that's how we define the destination, so that we don't need to create any mappings will be dynamically done. So now this is how we have set the um, for each loop, for each activity. So inside the for each activity, we have used the set variable activity and the copy data activity. You can use other complication, not complications. If you want to monitor how long each table has taken, so you can create other variables as to start the time and then store the time and then get the time, end time, and then you can take the difference as the duration and then store that also into your monitoring table. So that's you can create a monitor table and then you can use that. And also you can do some kind of error handling. So if the see here, you each activity has on success. So on success, if this has errored, then this won't happen, this activity will not happen. So only on success you are going to get it. And if you want to create an alert, if this failed, then what you can do is you can uh, click on this one and then create another activity called send alert to something like that. And then on completion, whether it is success or not, on completion I want to run another activity, so you can use that. So these are the and also if you want to skip, on skip, So that also you can use. So each activity has these four um, outlets. So here at the moment, I have defined only the on success. So if this is successful, then this activity will run. So now let's try and run this. So how do we run this? So I'll just run this one uh, using the run command. And then now it's asking for which application should we use. So I'm just having the AdventureWorks because I don't have much. So it's going to run. It's going to take a little bit of time, and we can see the progress of the run. Meanwhile, if anyone wants to ask any questions, you can ask. Okay, so here now we are seeing some progress in the activity. So lookup table, the activity succeeded. So here you can see what the input was and what the output was. So here you can see that the input was it's running the store procedure, and then the parameter name was AdventureWorks, and then it is running, and then what the output is count is 3. So it's going to run 3 times, and then the values are, so each time the values are there. So these are the values. One value, second value, it's a JSON output, and then the third value. I hope you all can see. Um, yeah. Now lookup activity is done. Load data tables, which is the for loop. This is the for loop. So that is what is running at the moment. And if we look at that, see all the activities that we have defined within the loop is running. So set field names, source tables, and schema name. So here also you can see what the okay. So here also you can see what the input is. So input is field names. So that means this is the address ID, city, and country region. And if we look at the uh, so if you look at the output for field names, that is the one, and output for source table. So source table is address, and output for source schema is output for schema name is source schema. And here, if we look at the actual copy data activity, copy activity, so this took 29 seconds, and here um, it has written into the lake house, which is in East US, and then yeah, it's going to show you what the output has been. What's the this thing? So if we look at the input, so it's going to show you what the Bronze Lake House tables address table is address, and then it's going to run that. Okay. So similarly, because it's running 3 times, the next table is, if we look at the source table, next table is customer, and the other table should be product, I think. Let's look at the product. Yeah, so this is the product. So it's loading all those three products. I think looks like everything is succeeded. So yeah, so the load data tables is succeeded now. So now let's go and look at the bronze lake house. So if we go to the lake house here, okay, so this is the warehouse that we are in. Let's go to the lake house. So this is the bronze lake house. And here, if we look at this one, so address, customer, address. So it is getting only 3 columns compared to the columns that are there in AdventureWorks. And if we look at customer, I think this also 3 columns maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not. So this is no, this is more columns. So customer name. Okay, this is I think I must have loaded the customer as earlier. So this is not the one that we are going to look at. So this will be the product. So product, we have just two columns that we have identified. So that's how you dynamically loop through the um, tables in the source and then insert them into the destination. So in order to, if you want to actually query the lake house using SQL instead of looking at the what do you call, at the uh, tables in this way, you can go to the top where it says lake house. You can go and look at the SQL endpoint where you can run the queries. So here, if we look at the DBO, because all schemas are DBOs, and then if you go here, you will have a look at um, address. So, so for example, if you want to create a SQL query, top 100, so you are going to get the top 100. So these are the three columns that we have um, copied. So uh, that is what I wanted to show you for today.